Hey, so you're moving down to sunny South Florida, and you know what? You just can't decide. Do you want to live in a house or do you want to live in a condo? They're both great options, but which one is the right one for you? Well, today we're going to talk about the best and worst reasons to live in each. So if that's something you're trying to figure out, you better keep watching this video. All right, so you made the decision. You already know you're ready to come to South Florida. You want the sun, you want the beaches, the world-class dining, the fine shopping, and all the golf courses that come along with living down here, but you just can't figure it out. Do you want to live in a condo or do you want to live in a house? Well, listen, my name's Andy Johnson over at the Andy Johnson Group. I'm with EXP Realty, and this is actually a call that we get all the time from people coming to the area. You know, they think they may have an idea, but they're just not quite sure. What do they want to live in? Because there's reasons for both. And today, we're going to talk about some of the top reasons why people choose to go house or condo, what things you need to consider. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today is something that a lot of people don't know when you're financing a condo and a house and the differences that occur there. So if you're thinking about financing, and even if you're not, you definitely are going to want to hear that because that's just not something everybody knows. But let's go ahead and get into it. You know, what are some of the biggest reasons that people talk about and that we know that people want to live in condos versus houses or houses versus condos? So let's get into the first reason, and it's a big reason that people come down here, and that's amenities and community amenities. So listen, number one is a caveat to this discussion. We have to understand that there is no shortage of condo choices or single family housing choices and communities to choose from, right? Like with houses as an example, we can go all the way from non-associations to full-blown country clubs. With condos, we can go from catwalks and no manager to the Ritz-Carlton, which has a manager and bellhop and everything else that you're going to need. But for this, I'm going to kind of take the middle of the road of what people think about when they're coming to the area and really what you're going to kind of find. So community amenities are a big reason that people come down. And overall, condos are going to have more to offer than single family homes. And another great thing about those community amenities with condos is the ability to meet people. So a lot of times when people are coming to South Florida, obviously it's as a second home and they don't know a ton of people. Maybe they know their sister, their brother, they've got one friend that lives somewhere, but they really don't know people. And so meeting new people is something that's very important, and condo life is something that's very, very conducive to that. You know, almost all condos are going to have a private pool, they're going to have a gym. Typically you all are going to have some kind of doorman or security at the gate or at the entry door, and those are just going to be kind of standard. Most of them do have some sort of pickleball or tennis that's available, and then of course a lot of condos are going to be on the water, and that's one of the things that we're going to focus on today is kind of waterfront condos. So you're going to have beach access. Some of them have umbrellas laid out and chairs for you and all those wonderful things already. So that's one of the really great things about condos is going to be the amenities that pretty much come as a standard with all of them. And then we kind of look at single family houses, which it's not really the case. You know, single family houses, we are typically going to have a community pool. Some of them have gyms, some of them don't. Security, well, we have a lot of gated communities. The security at a condo building is going to typically be a little bit higher. The other thing about living in a single family home versus the condo, which I kind of mentioned, was meeting people. You know, it's just a little bit harder depending on, your level of friendliness and what you do, right? If you have a dog and you walk through the neighborhood, you may meet other dog owners. If you go to the pool and introduce yourself, you're going to do that. But you just aren't as close to your neighbors as you are with a condo. So a lot of the time, people that come down here feel like it's easier and quicker to meet new friends within a condo. The only caveat to that I'll say in a single family home is if you go into a country club community, or again, if you're super social and you're always at the pool and things like that. So, okay, that's number one, community amenities. And community amenities as a whole is gonna go to the condo side. All right, so we're gonna give the condos the win on community amenities. So let's go to number two. All right, so that brings us to number two, which we're covering a couple different things. We're gonna kind of cover space or square footage, expansion, parking, and then guests or visitors kind of coming to see you. And let's talk about condos first. So in general with condos, you are going to have a smaller space, which may be a good or bad thing depending on what you're using it for. A lot of people when they come here, they're not looking for a massive space that they've got to clean, heat, and take care of. So, something with a little bit smaller square footage would be something that they're after. You know, a standard condo, you know, you're probably going to find is going to be, let's say, 1,200 to 2,500 square feet, right? I mean, obviously condos get much larger than that, and there's smaller condos too, but that's going to kind of be the average. The other thing is most condos are going to be 2 bedrooms. Obviously they're 1 bedrooms, but for this conversation, I'm excluding that. Most are going to be 2, and you've got plenty of options. If you need a 3 bedroom, and I bet your options are going to be reduced by probably about 50%. If you need 4 bedrooms, it's going to be reduced by probably about 80%. And this also is directly tied to budget. The more bedrooms, the bigger the unit, the bigger the price. You know, depending on your price point, a 2-bedroom condo may kind of be what you're looking for. Also, condos are fixed space. We know that. You know, you're never going to increase size of a condo. You may be able to change your layout, but that's going to kind of be it. And just a side note to condos is a lot of condos around here, you can't do work year round. You can only do work during quiet time. So during season, when all the guests are here, or all the owners are around, you can't necessarily improve your condo. It's just something to know about depending on when you're purchasing that, if you're going to be able to use it right away or not. Parking is another one. You know, if you're coming here with a spouse or a significant other and you both have vehicles, it's something you need to pay attention to. A lot of condos out there only allow 1 parking space, period. They'll have guest parking, but you're not allowed to keep a car in there. Some of the higher end properties, you know, you are going to get 2, but that's something that you're definitely going to pay for. So if you need to keep more than 1 vehicle, it's a big consideration there. And then finally is guests and visitors. Again, same thing. It's a little bit harder with guests and visitors. The parking is going to be less. And then also with condos, a lot of times you have to notify the building. Actually, most of the time you have to notify the building when guests are going to be staying there. You know, it's a lot more watched how long they can be there and things like that. So if you don't want that kind of oversight when your guests come, you know, it's something to be aware of. Also, if you have grandchildren or younger children that are coming to visit you, depending on the building that you're in, you know, sometimes it's comfortable, sometimes it's not, right? Having kids running up and down the hallway. So you just want to be aware of kind of the condo that you're looking at, as opposed to when we get into homes, on average, you're going to get more space, right? A single family home on average is going to, you know, start at about 1,400 and go up from there. Of course, again, we get into bigger sizes and the price goes up, but the cost per square foot is typically going to be a little bit less than what you're going to find with condos. Another thing is later on, if you did decide that you wanted to expand the property, you're able to do so. You know, 99% of houses you can make repairs to anytime that you want, or rehab the property whenever you want. There are areas like Palm Beach where you still can't do that. Parking, non-issue in most of these places, right? You've got a driveway, you've got a garage. A lot of neighborhoods have street parking, street guest parking available as well. And so having visitors is something that is a little bit easier. So, you know, for space, expansion, parking, and having guests and visitors, houses win that no matter what, right? Like, to me, 100% you're going to want the house there just as an ease, right? Best of both worlds. That's the winner for me. So that takes us to number 3. Number 3, we're going to go to privacy, again, kind of security, and what I'll call it, lock it up and leave. The lock it up and leave with the house is obviously just a little bit different. You know, in general, people just feel like they've got more that they've got to get taken care of. You know, making sure all the doors are locked as opposed to just one. I mean, if you're on the 20th floor of a condo, it doesn't really matter if you lock the back door. So, you know, lock it up and leave definitely goes to condo. House, there's just more to it, making sure everything is set up, especially depending on what type of neighborhood you live in. You know, if everything outside is maintained for you, okay, but if you have to worry about anything, you know, on the outside of the home. So, you know, for that, privacy definitely goes to the single family home. Security, lock it up to leave, goes to condos. And so, you know, don't forget, when we get to the end of this, folks, it's something with the financing I really want you to stick around for. And the next are going to go kind of quick. And if you haven't, make sure you click subscribe. We're posting new content all the time about reasons to live in South Florida, reasons to not live in South Florida, and just in general things you need to know about. So another big reason, and I'm going to tell you right now, this goes to condos, that people are going to live in condos, is the view, right? If you're looking for an ocean water spectacular view, you know, unless your budget is $10 million or more, you know, from an ocean standpoint, you're going condo. And so, you know, if you want that big, expansive, high-rise view, you're going condo. That's just the choice. I mean, if money is no object, Can we get you a beachfront house? Sure, absolutely. You know, can you be on the intracoastal and have the water in your backyard for, you know, a couple million? Yeah. Can I get you a pond for $500,000? Sure, absolutely. But, you know, if you're wanting to have a beautiful view of the waves and you want it at a more affordable cost, condo is going to be the way that you're going to go. And proximity to the water for cost is going to be kind of the same thing, right? So that goes to condos. If being close to the beach or the intracoastal and doing it on a budget where it is important, then you're definitely going to get a better shot at that owning a condo. So another thing that people ask about is going to be cost of ownership. And a lot of times people automatically assume that owning the condo is more expensive because you have these high HOA or high condo association fees is really what they are, higher fees. And, you know, let's just say in a condo right now, to give you an idea, folks, condo fees, I'd say on average are ranging from about $700 on the low side to about $1,600 to $2,000. That is the average range, right? Single family homes with HOAs, I'd say on average are ranging from about $300 to $500. But the thing that people forget in these condos a lot of the time is they're not including the maintenance that comes along with the house that they're going to have to put on. So for instance, right now, if you have a barrel tile roof here, depending on the size of your home, let's say a 2,000 square foot single family home, barrel tile roof, that roof is going to cost you $50,000 to $60,000 and it needs to be replaced about every 25 years. So depending on where you are, you know, take $60,000 and divide it, and you've got to figure like that into the maintenance cost of owning your home. You know, same thing with driveways, with painting the exterior, with any other work. All of those things you got to kind of break down, and if you're going to be responsible, include those, because in condos that's basically what they're doing. Now, something that's super important is ever since you know, the condo collapse in South Florida occurred, rules have changed, and there's a lot of people that are concerned with safety, security, but they've put a lot of good things in place. The 30-year check, which is a structural integrity check that then has to occur every 10 years after, and it's great. The drawback is there is a lot of deferred maintenance that is now taking place. So if you are looking at a condo, it's imperative that you understand what their financial situation is and what upcoming assessments may be occurring, okay? Because those can get to be very, very big. And that's different than just common maintenance we're talking about right now. You move into a building that everything's taken care of and hey, you're just paying and going along and you've got a healthy amount of reserves, all good. You know, another big one, just so you know, that people forget too, is a lot of times with condos, you know, your insurance policy potentially is going to be cut in half because you're only insuring the interior of the condo, you know, because the building as a whole covers the walls out, whereas with the house, you have to cover the whole thing. So that's something, you know, maintenance is another one where, again, it just depends on what you're taking care of. In a house, there's a lot more responsibility than there is in a condo. You know, in the condo, 99.99% of the time, it's in your unit is all you got to worry about. In a house, you know, that's not the case. Even if the association is taking care of the yard most of the time, you know, you're definitely responsible for the roof, the painting. You know, if you want any kind of extra landscaping that's not provided within the community, things like that, they're all going to fall on you. You know, hey, even things like your water main running to the street, that kind of stuff falls on you. Both types of communities can have assessments, but you know, you're definitely going to have more assessments living in a condo. So, you know, cost of ownership, it really depends, and you've got to do research. I think if I talk to most people on the average, they're going to say that the condo is the higher fees, but again, it's because of kind of a misunderstanding, or in my humble opinion, we all got them. It's not looking at the numbers all the way like somebody should. Assessments, single family homes win all the way. You're definitely going to have more assessments living in a condo. All right, so here we are. Last thing, financing. Maybe it's not an issue for you, you're paying cash, hey, no worries. But if you are financing, something that you need to know is that when you are purchasing a house or a condo, it is different, okay? With most condos in South Florida, if you are purchasing, you need to be prepared to put 25% down as a down payment. Now listen, like I said, for a lot of you, that may be no big thing, right? No big deal. But for some people it is, because with a house, you can put as little as 3% down. Okay, and again, this isn't an end-all be-all. There are some condos where you can put less down, but so if you're trying to put less money down, it is much easier to finance a single family home than it is a condo. It has nothing to do with you as a borrower. It all has to do with the lender and how they view condos. And it's a challenging situation down here, but it's something that is occurring, and it's just something to be aware of. If you're moving down here permanently, a lot of people are coming down, maybe they're buying their first place, their second place, and again, they're not ready to put down 20 or 25%, then they want to do 5%, 3%, 10%. Again, single family is probably going to be the way to go. So there we go. I mean, the truth is it's a toss-up, right? I can't say which one is better than the other because it's going to be a different answer for different people, and it all depends on what you are looking for as an individual. But those are the things that you really need to look at. Both condos and single family homes can do very well to hold their value. One other thing that you do need to watch, obviously, is the rules and regulations that come with both, and they vary on both. Again, you're going to tend to have more, you're going to tend to have more rules and regulations with condos. So understanding rules and regulations of both community or both style of properties is very important. And then of course, hey, let's not forget there's always a townhouse or a villa, which are other separate things, and maybe and it's something else we could talk about. But at the end of the day, it's my job and my team's job to find you exactly what you're looking for. And we know some of the best condos and some of the best houses that you could possibly choose from. So if you're thinking about moving down here, listen, I love to have real estate conversations. Please call. The number's down below. Our information is down below. If you have any questions about what we said today or opinions, I'm happy to hear them. If you want to tell me I look like an idiot, post it below. Can't wait to read it. Either way, thanks for checking out the video today. I sure as heck enjoyed doing them. I hope you enjoy watching it, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.